I love how Chris has so clearly set up for us this difference between feeling fear, is really what she was saying. You can feel it without allowing it to actually control you. There's a difference between the feeling and the spirit of fear being on your life and allowing it to govern the choices that you are making. Those are two different things. All of us feel fear. Every single one of my friends that are on this television program right now, we all feel fear. But we have to choose, just like everyone else, whether or not we're going to allow that now to determine whether or not I follow God, whether or not I do the next thing, whether or not I keep on honoring God with my choices and with my attitudes and my actions. And the perfect love is that light that Crystal was talking about. When you bring fear in alignment with the love of God for you, which means he has your back, it means he is for you, it means he is in sovereign control over all the circumstances.
Yeah.
It means that the Spirit of God, the same one that raised Jesus Christ from the dead, is the same Spirit that's living on the inside of you, which means that fear doesn't have the right to govern me, because God's power is overruling every single nuance of that enemy's device in my life. And here's the thing I really want to say about fear, because my sister, I don't know if everybody knows this, but the young lady that is in the block right underneath me, the other chocolate sister that is on this broadcast today, she's my actual biological sister. So she can tell you all this about me, that fear, the concept of fear as a spirit, makes me almost angry, because the enemy uses the spirit of fear as a device to keep me, to keep my siblings, to keep my sons, to keep my husband, to keep my friends from actually walking in all of the fullness and the joy and the peace and the purpose that he's created us for. He does not want us to reach our full potential. And one of the major devices and schemes that he uses to cripple us is a spirit of fear. So oftentimes in my life, one of the ways I begin to discern the leading of God for my life is if there are two options in front of me. Lord, would you have me do option A or option B? And I consider which one I really don't want, for whatever the reasons are. If I water down the reasons why I don't want to choose one of them, and the underlying base of my reason, when I'm honest, is that I'm intimidated, or I'm insecure, or I'm afraid that I won't be enough, or I won't be able to follow it through, or I'm not talented enough, or whatever my fears are. If I water it down and find fear at the base of it, then I know that if the enemy is going overtime to stamp a spirit of fear on that thing, that must mean that there's something in that thing he does not want me to have. And let me tell you something. If the enemy doesn't want me to have something, it causes a holy indignation to rise up on the inside of me, because I want everything that God has for me. So I'm just saying, ask God to heighten your spiritual senses, not just so that when you feel fear, it becomes this overwhelming problem, but when that feeling begins to be used by the enemy as a scheme to stamp a spirit of fear in your life and keep you from moving forward, that's when you put a stake in the ground and say, not today, Satan. You came for the wrong one. I am walking forward in the purposes of God.